I welcome you all, basketball degenerates, to another episode of the Pass First, Shoot Later podcast brought to you by the OC Basketball League. I'm your host, Ziko Pepic, here with my co-hosts, Michael Van Wyck and Omar Almadine. And it's actually kind of like a normal day for us. There's nothing weird going on, nothing crazy. Omar's not on a treadmill, and nobody's overseas or anything like that. Mike's always here in the US.
Yes, not leaving the US. What's up, everybody? Just want to go out and say that Boston called it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to talk about the
I
Boston
don't think anybody. I don't think anybody was going to disagree with that statement. I think it's well deserved. As like I told you, Boston was going to take it.
I'm telling you, not before we even got to the finals, before the playoffs started, I picked Boston. I had them beating Denver, not Dallas, but you
But at
guys
the
said
end
I
of the
was
day,
crazy.
it's well deserved. I mean, a Laker fan is not going to give
You said
Boston.
I was crazy for thinking Dallas is going to go to the finals.
That to me, that was crazy, but it didn't matter. I picked the winners. You told me Miami was going to sweep them.
And Mike,
Jimmy Butler got hurt.
The fact that you have two Laker fans on the podcast, there's no way in hell a Laker fan is going to admit that Boston's going to win the championship.
Hey, what were the years of the last two Boston championships?
Mike, you're like going into like people's like
Remind me, was
emotions.
it 2024, obviously, but the last one was 08. So Boston won in 08 and 24.
Mhm. Yeah,
Two good years, I guess.
2 good years, two good numbers for sure. But even if they're
Yeah.
good years, it's never a good year when the Celtics win. And in fact, I'm going to prove that to you. After the NBA Finals were over, I just happened to hop on Twitter and X, excuse me. I hopped onto X and I often look at.
You're always on that, Zico.
No, not as much anymore. I used to be on Twitter nonstop. I'm not on that as much anymore.
He just clears those alerts. He takes screenshots and then clears them.
Yeah, that's all I do. Alerts are the only things I look at, like Woj bombs and stuff like that. And I do often look at like when I'm on there, like what's trending in the world. It's actually a really good news source in general, especially for people who care about like European type news, because you'll find a lot more things there than you will on the mainstream news here. But the most trending topic in the world was worst NBA finals ever. Those four keywords. That was worldwide trending more than anything else after the Boston Celtics won. And I started laughing. So I just started I clicked in just to see what people were saying. And I swear to you, if it wasn't like 95% saying, I effing hate the Boston Celtics, I'm pissed that they won. Comments like that over and over and over again from all over the world. I even like translated some, like, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, the same thing, just in a different language. So I think if the NBA does do conspiracies and they set up the Boston Celtics to win, I think they screwed up because the world ain't happy with it.
I don't think the NBA set up the Celtics versus the Mavericks, right? But I will say Tatum was trying to set up something in all of his post-game interviews. That's been going back and forth. You guys have seen all that, I'm sure. Yes, no.
I've seen a few different things. I'm actually curious which one you're talking about. Are you talking about like the Kevin Garnett like scream?
Yeah, him screaming and then him what can you say, what can they say now? All the different things. Feeling Kanye West speech about everyone was saying, what if we lost? They'll never know, or we'll never know, whatever it was. All those things. He tried to set up so many different
All
things.
that is really irrelevant at this point because again, it's over. As Laker fans, we don't care to keep listening to what a Boston Celtics say unless Jason Tatum becomes a Laker. But
Really?
Look, I know you guys are Laker fans, right? Obviously, that's well
but you
established.
didn't let me finish my point though.
This isn't a Laker
It was well
podcast.
deserved. It was well
Kind of
deserved.
is. Kind of. There's a little bit of a admitted bias towards the Lakers aside from you.
Yeah, but but this was well deserved, I think. You know, they didn't buy it like they bought the one in '08. You know, they developed within. They have
Did
one of the
not buy it? Are you sure they didn't buy it? mean, it could have bought it because this
Well,
could become like in a couple years, you know, it's an NBA conspiracy.
compared to the one in '08, okay, yes, they ended up getting Drew Holiday, which was a big X factor for them in this playoff run, in this championship run. But at the end of the day, your two best players were drafted.
And they went through a lot of adversity. A lot of people said break them
Correct.
up. They can't do it.
Correct.
Um,
Exactly. And they have the youngest coach to ever win an NBA championship, who's developed a culture like we talked about. The issue with the Lakers is we no longer have an identity or a culture. And Boston maintained that. They went to back-to-back NBA finals. So they understood what it took. Yeah, they lost last year.
was it last year?
They lost to Golden State.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that just still like blows my mind, and this is like if there's some kind of conspiracy to this, the thing that just blows my mind, and thought about this so many times this season. Why would Portland, like first they agreed to trade Damian Lillard, who was the heart of their franchise for so long. They agreed to trade him. He asked to go to Miami. They didn't want to trade him there. Instead, they trade him to, the Milwaukee Bucks. And literally, as an FU to Dame, after everything he did for them, the guy they traded for, Drew Holiday, they flip him and send him to Boston as an FU to Dame, just to be like, you know what? You're still not going to win. We'll make sure of it. And like that was like the kind of point where I was like, I mean, Boston just got Porzingis, and then they get Drew Holiday. And the way they did it, the way they were able to shed salary, the way they did to make that deal work, that's like the one thing where like if there's something, it would have started right there. If there's something you could say like, how did they get away with this? Like, how did no other team jump in and be like, no way, I got to do something to block this? That's what blows my mind. And you look at Portland, who got worse from those trades that they made. Like they got significant, like they didn't get anything worthwhile back where you could be like, no. I mean, at least they got all these picks. At least they got this young player to build with. They got nothing back. They got more back from the Phoenix Suns trade they made. I know it was a 3-team trade, but like it just even then, like Mike, you've been the one who more than anyone who's like that team's like has nowhere to go all season long. Whenever we mention Portland, it's like, oh, like Scoot and you could build around that. So you're like, no, man, there's nothing there, right?
Yeah, they lost a lot, and I think obviously they got the short end of that stick. But going back to Boston, I don't think Drew Holiday gets enough credit for how he changed that Boston dynamic and how he showed that like they got to the finals and he showed them what it takes to win the finals.
Agree.
And I think that goes
He provided
underappreciated.
something
Obviously,
else.
in that Al Horford got one, yeah. I mean, but he had never won. Like
Right. He
I
gave
think
something Al Horford couldn't.
I think in the organization, it's probably very appreciated. But I think outside of the organization, I think casual fans, I don't think they realize how much of an upgrade from Marcus Smart, who's a fantastic player, but Drew Holiday is just that much better and has that much more leadership and that much more knowledge where he can uh, take the back seat and just say, all right, let's go get this done, but this is how you guys need to do it. And we talked about it on the last episode, Jaylen Brown with Jason Tatum, who gets the finals MVP. Is that going to make a difference? Is that going to blow things up? And we talked about Brown's IQ and just how smart he is and how he went in. And his first sentence after winning that award is, "This was a team award. I couldn't do it without my team. I couldn't do it without Tatum."
He
And
definitely showed his emotional intelligence on that.
yeah, and I think that just brought the team closer together. I think that it's not going to divide them as much as I think you guys were probably spot on, and it's maybe a leap, but I don't think Tatum would have handled winning that award the same way. I again, I don't think they're going to repeat. We all said that we don't think there's a team that's going back to back, but if we pretend they did, and next season Tatum did win Finals MVP, I think that laid the blueprint for how he would respond now. But I don't think had he won it this year, that he would have laid it out the way Brown did. So I think that it just worked out for them as a team.
I actually, I get what you're saying. I don't agree with it. Jaylen Brown, yes, he has emotional intelligence and he said those things. Because he knows that this could all burn up really quick. He was careful with his words. Jaylen Brown knows Jason Tatum's the best player on that team. Jaylen Brown knows it. Jaylen Brown knows the teams are literally focusing in and honing on Jason Tatum, and he got to reap the benefits from it. So he did it in an attempt to try to squash any beef that could be mistaken by the media, mistaken by fans, mistaken by Jason Tatum, mistaken by one of his teammates, where somebody might say something to damage this thing. Regardless of that, if you think Tatum isn't furious for not winning the finals MVP, I can guarantee you he is.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that. I think this is going to put a chip on Tatum's shoulder and he's going to come out and try to prove even more. That's why I think it's another benefit to Boston that he didn't win it, because he now has more to prove, right? So he's going to go out there and say, okay, we're a great team. We're a solid team. Brown won this. So now my goal is I got to go show them that I'm better, that I did lead the whole series in points and rebounds and assists, and I did all these things. And they got it to Brown because he played defense on Luka and I didn't chase around the best player. But everything else on the stat board, I filled up. And I think he's just going to come out with a vengeance, and I think it's going to help him become a better player. Again, I still don't think that they're going to turn around and repeat, just because we've said it multiple times. The media has said it. Everybody, I think, in the world has said it and seen it. They had a pretty easy cakewalk to the finals. They weren't banged up. Porzingis got hurt, which I think everyone's going to expect every season anyways. But they played a Dallas team that went through the ringer in the West. They had a lot of good teams. I thought the Clippers were capable of winning a championship. I thought, I mean, Minnesota went through it with Denver and took out who I thought was going to be in the finals against Boston. And they all just went so much harder in the West and got more exhausted. I said it was the same thing that happened to the Lakers last year. Playing Golden State or playing Denver took a toll on them, or whoever it was, and then they just went and they were too exhausted to beat Denver, right? So
yeah, but I think even without that being said, though, Boston is the better defensive team. So even had Dallas got to the finals in the same, you know, same manner that Boston got there, I think Boston has a better defensive team. Number one, and we all know defense wins championships. Number two, they have more scores, I would say, Boston, that are capable of stepping up, like in more veteran guys, from Drew to Derek White to even a 38 Al Horford versus, you're relying at Derek Jones Jr. as your three. He's not really a scorer. Tim Hardaway was in the doghouse this series, right? PJ Washington, if he's not knocking down that corner three, he's good defensively, but offensively, the grunt of the work is really on Luka and Kyrie, versus Boston has 4 to 5 guys that can actually pick up some of the scoring load on top of playing defense.
Yeah, but there was never there was nothing they had to overcome, right? Boston never they never went back in the locker room and looked at each other like, dude, you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Well, they
because
did
never
actually.
they never had
Hold
that.
on, hold on, no, because what I'm going to say is something people forget about. It takes a lot to get to where you were at the season before, and making it to back-to-back NBA finals when the expectation is to win a championship is a lot to overcome. And so yes, they may not have met the teams that challenged them to get there, but getting to where the last place you failed in life, and what that is, going to the finals again, was one thing that one burden they had to overcome, is getting there first. whether the way was paved easily and there was injuries along the way that supported that. The bottom line is they still did what they had to do to get there.
By
Then
the
to
way,
win.
it was not back to back. Last year was Nuggets and Heat. The year before,
That's what I thought.
Golden State.
Because they didn't play Golden State because the Lakers beat Golden State and they were
Well, the
exhausted and went and got.
conference finals. But then that's my whole point is getting over that hump of losing in the conference final. That's something they had to overcome.
Yeah, and I think they did that with their offseason acquisitions.
True, but you still maintain your two best players who carried the team throughout the season and in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I agree with it to an extent, but you have teams like Minnesota next season is going to be that much better. OKC next season is going to be that much better because they had a taste of that. We all said, it's too early for them. Even if they get there, they're not going to close, right? Because they haven't seen it before. Boston saw it, then they went there last year and met, their nemesis in the Heat, who Ziko thinks would have beat him this year, but it's a different Celtics team with guys who have been there.
Which I don't disagree with your statement, Mike, and I'm going to stop you here from going further into what could happen next season because we still don't know what's going to happen in the offseason as far as potential trades, potential, free agency stuff. So we can't really know who's going to be what next year. So,
but those players have that experience.
Well, yes, those players have those, but then again, just like Drew Holiday made it to Boston in some miraculous way, he came with championship experience that took them from one level to the next level. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think right now, if you trade,
he was an upgrade over Marcus Smart, right? So,
and I think the same thing. If you switch Drew Holiday and Mike Conley next season, I think Minnesota wins the championship.
Well, you still got to get rid of Rudy Gobert, right? They still need a different big man. We all talked about that.
I don't agree with that.
You just put Gobert on the bench. You can have him come off. But either way, if you swap that and you give we're not going into a Gobert thing.
Yeah, we're not going into a Gobert.
We already know, Ziko, you're crazy. Gobert ain't winning.
No, it's not that. I don't even care for Gobert that much. I'm just telling you that unless you switch him out for like Jokic or Embiid or Bam Adebayo, you're not going to find a situation for a better equipped center for that team.
Brook Lopez.
Specific team.
Brook Lopez.
The superstar. The superstar, according to Mike, right?
Exactly. Brook Lopez.
Mike, you understand what I'm saying? Like, for what you will get for Gobert, you will not get a better fit. He's making $40 million a year. If you trade him, you're probably gonna get 2 or 3 players back. Not one of them will be providing you the starters per game.
Give me Drew Holiday and Kristaps for Gobert, and they win a championship.
They're not getting.
I know they're not getting that.
Mike, you're not going to win an argument with GM Ziko right now. And I'll be honest, I'm not here to spend time talking about Rudy Gobert either.
I know. I see. I'm on a little different.
You know what? Let's start talking about Gobert every episode. Then you'll know how I feel.
I know, but like my whole thing is like again, I'm looking at like team building, and like I think next season Minnesota is going to take a step back.
Absolutely, I think they are too because I think the West got better.
Right, I think Minnesota is going to take a step back. I think.
What do you mean the West got better? There hasn't been any trades or any.
I know, but Omar, this
experience.
Is
they're a year older. They're a year stronger.
So is Minnesota. So
okay, wait. Minnesota has already been there, except Edwards. Edwards is going to be a monster next year.
What are you talking about?
Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, Gobert, they've all been deep in the playoffs. Just deeper in the playoffs. They've had playoff experience. Anthony Edwards is going to be fantastic next season.
McDaniels? Carl Anthony Towns has done what?
Carl Anthony Towns has done what? Listen, Anthony Edwards is going to be better. Gobert isn't getting better. He's getting older. Cat isn't getting better. He's getting more complaining. Okay. McDaniels get a little better. Nasri get a little better, though. Sure. But they're not going to take the leaps that get them further into the Western Conference or into the finals. Anthony Edwards, yes, absolutely. The rest of that team, I don't think they're going to get better than the 22-year-old starters over in OKC.
My whole thing is there's a team building aspect to this, which I keep talking about, and making sure you have flexibility moving forward, like currently and moving forward is really important for every team. And if you look at Minnesota, they gave up a lot of draft picks to get Gobert. Like it reaped the benefits for this season. They had an opportunity. It didn't work out. I think Dallas is a really tough matchup for them. I think that this was their ceiling with this group. The problem with them is if they
You get rid of Gobert and you bring in the other pieces, and that we're talking about. See, Mike and I both
no,
agree.
no,
that
stop. Hold on, no,
Same
no,
page.
stop. I'm gonna interrupt you because now this is what you're not getting. If you trade Rudy Gobert, you're gonna trade Rudy Gobert for pieces that are not going to make you better. You're gonna have to retool. It's gonna take you 2 or 3 seasons to
I
retool.
disagree with you. You're saying
I disagree too.
Hold
Give
on,
me
hold on, hold on, hold on, Mike,
Steven
Mike,
Adams
Mike,
and
hold
two
on, hold on.
shooters.
You're
Mike,
not getting that for the trade. He makes $40 million
so that means he has
doing that.
so that okay, Ziko, I'm sorry, but you always talk about money, right? And I understand that's a big factor in trades and everything. We're not on ESPN Trade Machine and doing the math and make it work, but there's always a way to find whether it's through a three-team trade or whatever. Are you telling me that Rudy Gobert does not have enough value outside of his contract problem to be traded for pieces?
Which team is going to trade?
Cleveland. Give me Jared Allen
They're
and
not giving you that.
Garland
They're
and
not
someone else.
giving you
Exactly,
that.
because that's what I'm trying to say. It's Gobert sucks, so no one's going to give up anything
That's
good
what we're
for him.
trying to say.
No,
Nobody's
this
going
is
to
what
make
I'm
a deal
trying
for
to tell you.
Gobert.
If they trade Gobert, it's going to be for multiple pieces to make the money match up. You're
Depth.
going to get Gobert for, let's trade him to Charlotte
Okay.
for like a random to fill in the money player, and then just like end of the bench players. Minnesota will get worse, is what
I
I'm
disagree.
trying to tell you.
I
They will
disagree.
get worse.
I'm going to disagree too.
In the regular season, they will get worse. In the playoffs, they'll get better. They'll fall to like the
No,
third or
because
fourth seed.
they'll fall further than the third or fourth seed.
I don't think so.
They had the best defense in the NBA, Mike. Go look at the team's defense before Gobert got there. There's a reason they brought him.
Because listen, everybody else bought in. Listen, I know everyone's all, and I shouldn't say everyone. Zico, I know you really like Gobert. I know you like what he.
I'm just telling
as
you,
far as
what
defense,
he's making, you're not going to get equal value for what you're going to get for him.
you
this
don't
season.
need equal value.
It is
You
better.
just need some
Listen,
depth.
it's better for that team to let his contract run out till the last year and then trade him as an expiring contract than it is for them to trade him now to improve. You're not going to get value.
You're running the risk of some of the younger guys wanting to stay there.
And there's the fundamental difference
That's
of where we think though,
which is why I just said
think,
that like, this is their peak. They're not going to get better next year.
listen, this is where I think Omar and I agree, and you're not following along. I don't think you need to get equal value for Gobert. I think if you remove Gobert and give me 2 extra pieces on the bench,
I understood what you said, and I completely disagreed with you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So you don't need equal value. You just need some big man who can play defense.
So hold on. So you're telling me, since you're talking about salaries, right, Zico?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about salaries, and I'm only looking at, next year's salary. I'm not looking that Rudy Gobert has another year under his contract. We're just going to go just for next year for followers that don't pay attention to salary caps and stuff like that. So you're telling me that if Atlanta's willing to trade Clint Capella and Bogdanovich for Rudy Gobert, Minnesota's getting worse?
Yes.
That's crazy.
How many games has Clint Capella played the last couple of seasons? Go look at how many games he misses. He is a shell of what he used to be. Go look at Bogdanovich, who has team issues. Every team he plays with. Here, I'm a Balkan guy. I know about
Rudy Gobert is also a shell of everybody who thought he is getting Defensive Player of the Year.
I know about Bogdanovich way better than either of you guys do. He's a pain in the ass teammate. You think he's going to gel well over there with the hard-nosed defensive mentality of the Timberwolves? You think he's going to gel there?
Okay,
he's having issues with the current right now.
Ziko, you're going to argue every single trade scenario we give you to get rid of Rudy Gobert. So honestly, I can sit here and go through.
I'm not telling you. Listen, I'm just telling you. Go ahead and think of a trade that works.
I'm going to go get it right now.
Works. And I'm telling you, it's not going to make the team better because the team that they trade them for is not going to give that up. Atlanta would give that up in a fucking heartbeat to get rid of Bogdanovich, the pain in the ass player that he's been, and to get rid of Capella's contract because Capella's hurt half the year. Minnesota will get worse.
Hang on, I got you. Give me trade him to Washington. Give me Bagley the third and Kyle Kuzma or Tyus
No,
Jones,
Mike, sorry.
Jordan
I'm hopping
Poole.
on the Zico train right now.
Give me Landry Shamet and Marvin Bagley the third.
No, Mike.
Dude,
Mike,
just get rid of Gobert.
Okay, I get you want to get rid of Gobert for pennies and peanuts, but I'm sorry, you like Zico's going to argue the Bogdanovich and then the Clint Capella, but that was a better trade scenario than freaking Kuzma.
Well,
And
yeah,
That's a better trade scenario for sure.
I
Either
completely
way, it's gonna
agree,
work.
but Washington doesn't care, and Zico's I'm just trying to get an okay from Zico.
So you know who if I'm going to entertain your trade scenario, Mike, with Washington,
Mhm.
I would rather include Rashawn Holmes in that trade, the guy that used to play for Sacramento, the big.
Yep. Give me Bagley and Holmes. Give me both of them.
Who's
Give me some
literally
depth.
going through a serious injury and the questioning if he'll be able to play further on in his career.
Give me Jonte
Why they
Porter.
traded from Sacramento.
You know what, Mike? You know what, Ziko? I'm going to go on a limb, bro. You got too much time on your hands to read all these specifics about every single player. I'm be honest with you. I'm going to go on the
Actually,
podcast.
during the trade deadline, I did a ton of research even on the smaller trades, and I was wondering why certain players were traded. Rashawn Holmes was one of the guys who was dealing with it in Sacramento, dealt with it in Dallas. He was constantly hurt, and it's a serious issue that I read about that he's probably going to get traded.
I got one for you. I got one for you for Rudy Gobert because numbers match.
Hit me.
John Collins and Lauri Markkanen.
Why would Utah do that? Why?
No, here you go. Here you
I
go.
just
I got
traded
you.
Gobert, and you want to send him back over there?
I got you. I got you. Win-win for everybody. No, I got it.
Right?
I got it. Go trade him to Charlotte for Bertans and Grant Williams.
Who?
Davis Bertans and Grant Williams.
Mike, knock it off, bro. Like you're now fucking with us.
See, this is when Mike has like a bias, and I know it's a bias. I get you don't like Gobert. I'm just telling you, and I don't care for Gobert either. I'm just telling you based off of what he provides and the cost of his.
I got one for you. It doesn't have to. I got one for you, and you can't tell me that this is not gonna make Minnesota better.
Give me Chet and SGA.
No, Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams.
Why would I do that if I'm Portland? Look at the timeline.
Because you're getting a 4-time defensive player of the year.
It's a business. Like, think about it from a business standpoint.
I rest my case.
You have to agree with the business deal.
Of course, I know we understand.
No, hold on a second.
Omar, that's why I'm grabbing bums.
Let's play devil's advocate. I'm the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm rebuilding. I just got Scoot Henderson. I got DeAndre Ayton. Let me just bring Rudy Gobert in. I'll play Ayton at the 4, and we'll play for a championship this year. Like,
you probably will. You get the 2 seed and then blow it in the playoffs.
No, they wouldn't get the 2 seed.
Utah did it with him.
Okay.
Gobert did. Gobert's a regular season monster.
Utah did it. Utah did it because Gobert. Look, Gobert. What Gobert provides is old school style defense. It's not exciting. He's not as good as the old school defenders.
Can we be honest about this right now?
Go ahead.
Who's managing Utah now?
Danny Ainge.
Okay, so what you're saying, Ziko, I'm gonna call you out for this because I'm not disagreeing with your rebuttals, but you're just proving my point right now. Is Danny Ainge in Utah pulled a heist on Minnesota that resulted in a 2nd seed and a potential, NBA Finals run, but in reality, Gobert ain't worth jack. And if no team is willing to trade for a 4-time defensive,
no, Omar, I didn't say that. You're still not listening to what I said. There will be teams that will be willing to trade, but they're not going to give up the value for Gobert that you'll keep them for that specific
how about this?
team.
Give me a team. Give me a team that will be willing to trade. Give me a team. Just give me the team that you think will do the trade. And I'll pick the players that will make Minnesota better out of that trade. And
no, that's not how it works. You need to think
nobody wants Gobert.
Interesting. Like the only team that here, you want a team to be interested in, like the Phoenix Suns, who have a serious defensive issue, and Nurkic is a really good center. However, he's a little slow and he's not a good shot blocker.
I'd swap him straight up.
So I just said there's one example. The money won't work. The money doesn't work. Like that's a team that like Phoenix would be like, oh, Rudy Gobert would help them, but the money doesn't work. Find a team that would agree to it where they would want him first.
So you said Phoenix. You
Like,
said
All right,
you know what, Mike?
who in
There's
Phoenix?
one team that actually would trade for him. And in fact, I guarantee you they would trade for him. The San Antonio Spurs.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes,
No.
they would. Yes, they would.
No, no
I
chance.
don't, before you say
I
why, I'm going to tell you why they say
No chance.
No.
guarantee you they would.
They'll do it in the sense that they bring Rudy as a mentor to Victor Wembanyama.
No,
That's the
doesn't
only reason
help
they
him.
would do that. I
They're
know where
completely
Zico's
different
going.
style. They're
Look
completely
how
different
mad he
styles of
got.
play. No,
Look how mad he got. This is the bias. They just played in France together. They've been playing in France together since the kid was 15 years old.
Yeah,
This is literally his mentor.
he's busted Rudy's ass in practice.
and he's better. Yeah, he's better. It doesn't help them
But
in
it's
any
the-
way.
No, but Mike, you're missing the point. San Antonio Spurs is an organization and a culture that will bring in a veteran like that to mentor because, yes, do I think Rudy Gobert is not as good as he's perceived to be? Sure, but that I'm not going to take away the fact that this is an NBA vet who's also an international vet who can be there to mentor his home country young men in the life of the NBA.
Give me Nurkic and Grayson Allen.
No, hold
Listen,
on.
Gobert's not going to
I
San
will-
Antonio for one reason and one reason
I'm,
only.
I'm gonna
Okay?
I'm gonna make a bet with you. I'm gonna make a bet.
I'll tell you right now why San Antonio wouldn't do it. He's already mentoring him in France. What does he need him on a team for? Where he's going to get in the way, he's going to block, he's going to clog the lane, he's going to take away shot blocking because all of a sudden you can't have two guys in there. It's just going to be terrible for
He's
rotation.
gonna be his backup, Mike. He's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
his
okay.
backup.
Then that's fine. Then that's great.
Mike,
Gobert off the bench.
In fact,
If
I
Gobert
will
comes off the
guarantee
bench,
you,
that's fantastic.
I will guarantee you that at some point when Rudy Gobert's career is ending, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna go play with Wemby and be his backup.
Oh, and that's fine. Listen, if
Well,
we're
I tell
switching,
you,
no, wait a
listen.
minute. If we're switching right now, Gobert off the bench is phenomenal.
Okay,
Phenomenal
this
depth.
is what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I said it's better for Minnesota. Like Naz Reid is getting better. It's better for Minnesota to keep Gobert and wait for the last year of his deal and then trade him so you get optimal value because it's an expiring contract. There will be a team that's dumping at that
But
point.
If they move him to the
46
bench,
million too.
I
if they
know
move him to the bench right now, I'm all for that. Great.
it's going to happen at some point.
Oh,
But they're not. But Mike, they're not going to do that.
Then you solve the problem. Then
They're
you
not going
solve
to
the
do that
problem.
because he's due 46 million as a player option his last year of his contract, and a guy like Rudy Gobert is probably going to pick up his player option because nobody's going to want his ass, and he has 46 million on.
Yeah,
on
so put him on the bench.
No,
piss him
somebody
off,
will
let him
want
request a
him.
trade.
Somebody will want him. The only problem is again, like he has like what 3 years left on his deal. It's a lot of money, and like
Well, two years after this year.
2 years after this year.
So one plus a player option, and his player option is 46 million. Which what I'm saying is he's going to pick that up.
Yeah, give me Nurkic and Grayson Allen.
That's the only team that'll do it. But would Minnesota?
You don't think Detroit would do it since they're willing to spend money and waste it?
It doesn't matter. Like Ziko just solved the problem. Bring him off the bench. That's a superstar move.
But that's what I was trying to tell you, Mike. That's what you guys wouldn't let me finish my sentence to try and show you where Rudy goes.
Well, but you just said he wouldn't come off the bench right now. I'm talking about next season. You're talking about 3 years from now. Next season, bring him off the bench.
He's 31 years old right now. He's about to turn 32 years old.
Swap him and Reed.
2 years, he's going to be 34 years old. And he's a free agent at 35. Where do you think he's going?
France.
No, he's coming to San Antonio. He's going to be Wemby's backup. I'm guaranteeing.
Okay, which is fine. But we're talking about next season.
Yeah, I'm talking about next year,
better,
bro. Like Minnesota, like you just went to the Western Conference Finals. They're going to try and the trade they need to do is to trade Mike Conley for a younger guy who fits their timeline. Mike Conley's too old for that group. They should have. I said this before. They should have gone for DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray instead of Mike Conley would have been phenomenal for that team.
They should have got Drew Holiday.
Or Drew Holiday. I agree 100%. That team is missing a point guard. Like Mike Conley coming off the bench is a great situation for any team too. He's at that stage in his career. He's an awesome backup point guard. I don't think he's capable of being a starting point guard on a title team anymore.
I think Drew Holiday should just float from team to team, winning championships every other year. Cement his legacy.
Yeah, Celtics aren't letting him go now. We all know that.
No, that's crazy. I can't believe Milwaukee did it. It's crazy.
Milwaukee did either.
But Milwaukee's made a ton of boneheaded moves in the last 3 years. So
yeah, it's
crazy.
The downfall of the Bucks has just been
Well, I
unreal.
mean, let's take a beat how good Giannis is, because their downfall hasn't really been a downfall, right?
So I will throw this out there because we just mentioned Giannis, and with the demise of the Bucks has been pretty rough. I think Giannis at some point is going to ask for a trade, and you know what? A trade that might come up is Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert for Giannis and whatever pieces you could do to make the contracts work.
Do it
I
now.
what?
Do it now.
Oh yeah, I know. Imagine Minnesota have Giannis and Edwards on the same team. That'd be phenomenal.
That'd take a big step forward.
Yeah, but like that's a situation where Giannis has to say, I want out and I want to go here. I don't think Giannis, if he gets out, is gonna want to go there
Because
personally.
whoever takes him is gonna have to take his brother.
That's fine. I don't think, dude, you're really gonna complain if you get Giannis. You think you're gonna complain about taking his
So tell
bring his
me.
whole freaking family? If
Oh,
I could get Giannis to the Lakers, bring his whole family.
yeah. So here's a question I have for you.
Yeah,
So you trade Cat and Rudy Gobert for Giannis and whoever it is to make the deal work, which really it's just both of them because Giannis is about to make 60 million, 50 something million, so you're not going to need any more players. But how does that make Minnesota better?
because you got rid of Gobert.
No, I
No,
think
I Giannis
really,
is better than
Giannis
both of those
is
guys.
Giannis next to Edwards with and Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid. Like just put those four, and then what I know it's probably going to be Conley, but you probably replace Conley at some point too.
Because
That's a
look,
really good team.
I'm not gonna go as far and say that Giannis is the big man that Gobert is. But as far as defensively, his matchups, you can now switch better. He can guard the perimeter better. He still gets you block shots in the interior. He's still bought in on defense. And Cat obviously can shoot, but Cat's pretty soft. So I don't think Giannis is going to complain about getting physical and guarding a
But
five.
you lose shooting at the 4 spot.
You do
That's
lose
that's
that,
what
but that's
Cat
what I'm
brought.
saying is doesn't Reed can shoot,
I
right?
agree with you,
So
but then
Reed comes in and Giannis shoots better than Gobert shoots. So you're not really losing much other than depth. You have to go fill in the bench now.
Which at that point, there's going to be veterans who are going to.
Absolutely.
would you make a trade with Houston?
Or
Well, before I go that far, Ziko,
you're
what's the
saying just
four?
send
So
Giannis
what's
to
the four?
Houston?
Hold on, no. Before I get deep into this trade scenario, um, Zico, tell me what the 4-1-1 is on Steven Adams. Is he able to play again?
Yes, Steven Adams will be able to play
Okay.
again. They
So
brought him in there to be a backup for Sengun. They thought he'd be a really good uh because he has that physical type of play. Sengun's a really physical player. They wanted someone who could be
would
there
you
to
not
back
would you not trade Steven Adams and somebody else
for
for
Giannis.
for Rudy Gobert?
No, because I want Sengun to be my starting center. Unless I'm bringing like I don't think that Gobert's made. Sengun's the best player on that team.
I don't disagree. We talked about that in
Sengun's
earlier
Sengun's like the
episode.
next Jokic to me. So I don't know how that helps them. I don't think Houston's looking to make that deal. Again, like you have to like the only other team I could think of like maybe like that plays a similar style where like that maybe they'd bite on it is maybe like the Knicks if they thought like, oh man, Mitchell Robinson's always hurt. We might lose Hartenstein in free agency. Let's make the deal. We'll send Mitchell Robinson and filler to make the deal work.
So
Atlanta would do it. I just don't
Realistic
think
guys,
make
I got one.
realistically,
I got the
a
last trade
team
scenario. Hold on, I got the
uh,
last trade scenario, Mike, and we're
I'm
gonna call
saying,
it a night
but
on Rudy Gobert.
and the trade scenario is fine. Some team is going to make a blockbuster trade because they know the next 4 years
And
is
that's
when
the
they have to do it.
Clippers who need to blow up that team.
No, they have
Clippers
four.
would be a
You
good fit
everybody
for
has
Gobert.
four seasons to figure it out because then Wemby is going to be it.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that,
hear
Mike.
you.
But I mean, even when Wemby gets there, there's going to be teams looking to counter Wemby, and you
So
know,
would you trade Ruby Gobert for a package around Zubac and maybe Paul Gasol? I mean Paul George.
If I'm Minnesota, absolutely.
yeah,
If
if I'm
I'm the
Minnesota,
Clippers,
yeah, but
no.
not if I'm the Clippers. No, I'm not trading Paul
But
George.
okay,
I'm
so
not
take
trading
Paul George out of
Zubac.
the equation, but
I would trade
Zubac,
Zubats, but not.
Zubac and a couple and a couple players to make the numbers work.
I just don't know if you have enough to make the numbers work. You're gonna have to get rid of one of those big time players because they're eating up so much of the salary. But he'd be great on the Clippers.
If I'm Minnesota, I do that in a heartbeat.
Well, the crazy part is between Zubac and
Visa's underrated.
and Norman Powell, and you probably can throw in probably a Terrence Mann.
Oh, yeah, if I'm Minnesota, I do that in a heartbeat. Zubac, Powell, and Mann for Gobert. Sign me up.
Just
Okay, so hold
give the
on.
title to
So
the-
you just said Minnesota, I would do that. So would that make Minnesota better?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
No, it wouldn't, because it'd make the Clippers better and Clippers would become
It doesn't make the Clippers better. They lose the depth. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Oh my God, dude.
How you?
I'm going to request that you put up a poll tonight.
I don't care. Don't put out.
No,
You put out
Rudy
any poll you
Gobert.
want. Somebody call the Clippers and Minnesota. Get them to make this trade, and let's just watch it unravel.
That trade would literally put Minnesota down a notch and put the Clippers up a notch.
So so you're telling me adding Rudy Gobert and taking away
To the Clippers,
Norman
think
Powell,
about the defensive lineup that team would have. Think about how deadly that defense would be.
Every
you're
fifth
right.
game.
You're right. Finally somebody there to watch James Harden's weak side. I
Right.
got you. Okay, but
And imagine
you put
having
away-
Kawhi and Paul George funneling guys to Rudy Gobert.
well, once Kawhi, which I love and respect and have a lot love for, plays more than the amount of games that he plays, then let's talk about that later. Okay, bottom line is there's no way you're telling me losing Norman Powell in your starting center and Terrence Mann, who's one of your backups, within your rotation guards, and you're telling me they're going to get better.
There's a reason why. You just opened up 2 roster spots. Do you know how many veterans are constantly like jumping at a chance to join teams like that? You really think somebody else is going to come sign?
Ziko. No,
Name somebody.
forget all that.
Name
Forget
somebody
all
who,
that.
who would want to go play for the Clippers.
Take it
DeMar
at
DeRozan.
that scenario.
DeMar DeRozan would go play with the Clippers. He's literally boys with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. He's not going to get another big contract moving forward. You think he's not going to go play with the Clippers if they just trade? And he's boys with Russell Westbrook too and Harden. You think?
All right, let's move
if
away
they
from
go there
this.
and
Where
recruit him
let's
to win a title? You think DeMar
listen.
DeRozan? He's a free agent.
Okay,
listen.
so
Gobert's not going anywhere.
you
Let's move
want
on
to
from
create
Gobert.
an all LA team. I get where you're going with that.
But that's what they're
No
trying to
way.
do.
There's no way in hell DeMar's going to go play with Russell.
He's not going to
Paul.
back them up. Yeah, stop
No,
it.
he's
He would
not.
start. Terrence Mann is leaving in that trade. So is what's his name that you just mentioned?
So hold on.
Terrence
So
Mann
Rudy,
starts.
hold on. Rudy Gobert,
Paul George, Paul George,
Kawhi,
DeMar DeRozan, and
And James Harden.
That's your starting 5.
and so Russell comes off the bench, right? Like he
Russell's
has.
been coming off the
Yeah,
bench.
No, like he has been. Okay, so who's your 4 here?
They've been playing Kawhi and Paul George at the 4 all season long.
And we see how that ended.
It ended because Kawhi got hurt.
Yeah,
Listen,
but
let's move on from this. I have a serious.
No,
I have
hold
a
on a second.
serious
Stop.
question. No. This isn't happening.
No,
This
hold on a
isn't
second.
happening.
Really quick. Mike, you watched a lot of the Clippers. You're really high on them. I was too. I was really disappointed to see Kawhi get hurt. Was that not the group that was literally crushing? Obviously, put Zubats instead of Gobert. Was that not the group that was crushing the NBA?
Yes, 100%. But you're losing depth now. You're losing your bench.
You're getting that with DeMar.
Listen,
and
we've
Russell
seen.
off the
Listen,
bench, bro.
guys,
Come on, Mike.
Listen. I'm all. You're not getting DeMar off the bench. You're getting Westbrook and the nobodies because Mann and Powell are gone. But listen, we've seen how
PJ Tucker gets more minutes to just stand in the corner and catch his 3s, bro.
PJ Tucker, they don't even want to use him. But look, we've seen how it goes. Oh, let's get a bunch of veterans at the minimum. And how did that work for the Lakers? That doesn't work anymore.
It worked really well for the Lakers when they were winning titles.
That's when the Lakers had a culture.
That's when they had.
It worked It worked amazing for the San Antonio Spurs when they were winning titles. When guys were
they had,
but they had their
different players. Do not compare any of the players on the Clippers to Tim Duncan.
Or Manu Ginobili.
Yeah,
or Tony Parker.
You had that. That's a much better core. But let's move on from this because Gobert's not going anywhere. We all agree. Where's Zach LaVine going? Where's LaVine going?
Zach LaVine, I don't think he's going anywhere until he proves he's healthy. One thing I
I
will
read a
actually talk
report
about,
that
there's,
they're
there's
trying to package him with DeMar to LA for AD.
yeah, that's not happening. There's one rumor that I actually heard that we can't talk about. There's one rumor that we can't talk about
We
because
can
it was
talk about
really
every rumor.
reported. No, actually, this is a legitimate rumor involving the Denver Nuggets. They are looking to move Michael Porter Jr. and they're talking about moving him on draft night.
To Canada,
No,
gamble with his brother.
probably yeah, it's possible. But
I mean,
they,
unless he's named in the Rico case that's about to happen.
But
yeah,
what are they doing on draft night?
well, that's one of the things that they were talking about. They realized this season that they lacked a lot of depth. They needed a little bit more defensive pressure on the perimeter, and the most expendable and best asset that they have to move would be Michael Porter Jr., and they are looking to move him.
They're gonna move him for a couple draft picks so they can draft Bronny and ask LeBron to come sign in free agency.
Probably not.
Man, could you imagine
I
that
don't
in
think.
Denver?
I don't think Malone is interested in coaching LeBron.
I don't think anybody's interested in coaching LeBron. That's why it's taking that long. That's why it's taking that long to find a coach for the Lakers. I mean, at the end of the day, think about it. We're talking about Mike. I don't care whether you're going to agree or disagree. This is a storied franchise, and people would salivate to coach for the Lakers. A history that they have, and a storied franchise.
Coaching's not what it used to be.
And
Detroit just fired their coach after a season, didn't even give him a chance.
well, he didn't have a chance before he even got there. He took the money.
Yeah, it's just
Getting paid for it too.
coaching's not what it
And,
used to
and,
be.
and he's keeping 65 million to sit his ass at home.
That's right. So I want to announce to everybody that I am going to be an NBA head coach. I'm available. I'm going to go interview with somebody.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go very well for you, Mike.
Probably not.
You know what, Mike? Ziko and I will start going over some plays for you on the whiteboard, and
I don't need any plays. I just got one
you.
season. I'm going to get fired anyways. I'm going to trade Gobert's ass.
Man, he hates Gobert almost as much as he hates Kobe. It's unreal.
No, I don't hate Gobert at all. I just think he's
Hold on a
overrated.
second. I have a question for you. Just be honest with me.
Okay.
Like, what point were you in a situation in a relationship that a French guy came in and ruined it for you that you hate French guys that much?
Well, I don't hate French guys. I like I said, I think that Gobert as a backup would be great, even as a starter. He's a
Mike, I just had to.
I
I
know.
agree with you. I get like my whole
But-
thing is again like based off his value, it's hard to equal it with that contract, like for what you're going to get back. That's all I'm referring to. That I wasn't trying to give you a hard time. Like, you
No,
guys
I know, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that as a team, I think Gobert gets in the way come playoff time, unless you have the matchup.
right, but you traded 4 first-round picks for him.
Oh, I
You know
know.
what I mean?
People make bad decisions all
And
the
that's
time.
why I said Danny Ainge pulled off the biggest heist.
Danny Ainge's been doing that everywhere, though.
But
That
you
guy
know what?
loves draft picks.
Regardless of that, like the amount of money Minnesota made just for them going into the semifinals makes up for the draft picks. Like whether you guys want to admit, they were going to be like middle of the pack draft picks anyway, because the team is like going to be hanging around like, they're going to be in the playoffs every year, so it'd probably be like a 20 to 30 pick anyway. So it's not like they really lost a ton when you consider the value of the players that are going to be going there. Like, yeah, you could always find like a gem, hidden gem kind of thing. But
Well, Zico, I'm gonna just I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I'm gonna add a little spin to disagree with it. Is because we're not in those drafts where there's a lot of like game changers. So those middle to the pack draft picks are actually more valuable today than they are in any other draft. So that's why I disagree with what you're saying, because we don't have a top loaded draft. There's not that player. So it's kind of an even playing field in a sense of who can be at what draft pick here.
the most valuable draft picks, Omar, for the next like 3 years is going to be 30 to 40.
Yes,
It's a
the future.
non-guaranteed contract. It's a non-guaranteed contract. You could literally like draft and stash a European kid who's 17 years old, let him continue to develop and stay in Europe and bring him over whenever you feel like and have his contract start then. Those are going to be the most valuable picks moving forward right now because college situation is not ideal. Like even look at the top picks this year. They're all, I guarantee you, of the top 10, half of them will end up being European guys. There's a lot of European guys that are out there. I don't see any of I don't know how good Cooper Flag's going to be. That one's kind of like a question mark. He looks like he's got the potential to be great, but a lot of guys look great. Andrew Wiggins looked like the best player ever when he was in high school. So we'll see moving forward what it's going to be like. But the most valuable draft picks going forward is going to be 30 to 40, 31 to 40. So I get what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like that 20 to 40 is really good, but it's still a guaranteed contract, and if you flop on it, you're paying for it for the next 4 years anyway.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but you know, you talk about Cooper Flag. I mean, his potential. He shows a lot of potential, and then his ability to score at the three levels, and that's a key here. But you know, I like to bring up a topic that we really don't touch on in our podcast in that episode, and we hear it's all over social media and it's all over the new ESPN and what's going on in the WNBA.
No,
Actually, yeah, I would like to talk about that.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I haven't seen more than 10 seconds of continuous WNBA basketball.
And neither have I, but I know you watch all the stuff that comes down your timeline, and just like right now, just Cameron Brink, she tore her ACL last night. She was
I don't even know who that is.
Number 2 pick in the draft was picked by the LA Sparks.
And she tore her ACL grabbing a rebound trying to go coast to coast.
Find your point guard.
She's your center. Powerful center.
Pass it to your point guard. That's what they're there for. We got to start these WNBA players from scratch fundamentals. Gobert would tear his ACL too if he tried to do that.
A lot of big men are starting to do that, Mike. There's a lot of point forwards, point centers in the NBA nowadays. So it's
obviously, if her coach didn't want her to do that, she wouldn't have done that, right? But what's your thought? What I want to hear you guys' take on this whole Caitlin Clark talk and her welcome to the WNBA.
So I know Mike is completely against the WNBA altogether.
Whoa! Wait a minute. I'm not against it if they want to have.
Mike, just
admit it. No.
Hater Mike.
No.
Hater Mike.
Just because I don't want to watch it doesn't mean I'm against it. If there's a league and there are fans, I don't like soccer either. I've probably seen more WNBA than I have soccer. It doesn't mean there shouldn't be soccer in the world.
He hates
I'm not against soccer.
French people, it seems.
But all I'm saying is it's not for me. I'm not going to watch it. That doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. It just means I'm not going to watch it.
All right. Well, Mike, let me fill you in on some of the stuff that's going on in the WNBA right now. The top 3 picks in this last year's draft were actually really good basketball. Actually, this draft had a lot of good WNBA players picked from it. It's the best crop they've had in a long, long time. I think I watched WNBA even before. I played basketball with a lot of girls growing up. They were all hoopers. I played with a bunch of girls that were playing college ball that were whooping guys' butts too. So I totally respect it. And I've watched a little bit of it. Lisa Leslie was great. I met her. She was awesome. So I've always been fond of it. I root for it. If I have a daughter one day, I hope she plays. I'm supportive of it and all that. My sisters sucked. They weren't hoopers at all. So I was a little bummed that they weren't more into it. But this year's draft with Caitlin Clark in particular, she is probably, and I hope Omar is listening, can hear it. I know he's got his mic off, but she's probably already the best player in the WNBA. She's the number 1 pick. She is a 6-foot white girl. The number
made
2
Omar very mad.
So repeat what you said.
I think Caitlin Clark could already be the best player in the WNBA right now.
You can't be serious.
No, I'm serious.
A girl that could only shoot going left.
there's a lot of girls in the WNBA that can't go left, and a lot of girls that can't go right altogether. I watched enough to see them one dribble up the court, one-sided dribble up the court too many times.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but that's a very bold, premature statement, Ziko.
Is it, Omar? Because why would someone get this much hate if it wasn't a possibility? Why would someone get this much negativity from the players if it
I'm gonna
wasn't?
get I'm gonna get in trouble for what I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna refrain from saying it.
Well, then you won't get in trouble.
No, yes, because we want our followers to go up, so I'll refrain from really saying. I'll say it offline here,
I
but
already know what you're going to say.
exactly.
Don't be soft.
No, it's not about being
He has to be
soft.
careful with it. He has to be careful.
Yes. So I don't want to touch on it online.
Neither does Giddy. She's too old.
But exactly. But Zico, I'm gonna deflect the answering that question and making a statement on that to say there are some instances that I've seen that I personally think is overboard and unwarranted. There are some scenarios that I saw where I thought were unwarranted and overboard. That whether it happened to anybody, it'd be like a WTF moment. But I've also read
some that are overblown.
Huh?
Seen some that are also just overblown.
There's both ways here.
Right.
But there are some. I'll bring this example. I forgot what team this girl was on, but she literally bucked Caitlin Clark, who actually played through the contact, and then when the referee called the foul, she tried to mock her with her gesture. And to me, I don't care who the player receiving the foul is. This is not a captain save a Clark Day moment, but that girl was completely wrong for her actions, which I think was overboard and unwarranted. Now, we all know there's physicality in the NBA game. And if you have any rivalry that's coming from college into the WNBA or whatever, any pro league, it carries on. It doesn't restart. You know what I'm saying? And so some of those are kind of lingering, issues from college, whatever you want to call it, whether it's jealousy, hatred, whatever, but that's before the WNBA. But I also read reports where she's not the angel that people try to perceive her as.
Nor do I expect a number one pick to be. I expect a number one.
Let's take this moment to remind everybody to like and subscribe. And if you don't want to listen to WNBA stuff, leave a comment. Let us know.
Mike found a reason to shut us up here, but
yeah, no, Mike. By the way, so Caitlin Clark is like a hot topic right now because she's really good. Actually, again, there's a lot of girls from this draft that are really good. Cameron Brink is one of them. Angel Reese is the other one who's in the news a lot right now.
And Angel Reese needs to work on her skills, even though she's good. She's lacking a lot of fundamentals. And at that level, there's a lot of bigger girls that can match up with her. So I think she has a lot of work to do, and she has.
They all do. And again, that wasn't what I was referring to. The reason Caitlin Clark is in the news as much as she is there is a lot of animosity towards her. She's arrogant, she's cocky, and she's a really good player. So she backs it up with her play. Her first couple games, she shot a little poorly. She was getting used to the WNBA game. She started playing a lot better recently. She has the potential to be the best player in the WNBA, and they had an opportunity to add her to Team USA. They chose not to. It's kind of hard to talk about why, and Omar kind of knows why. I don't think we want.
I don't think she deserves to be on Team USA, to be honest.
I think no. This is why I think she deserves to be on Team USA. The WNBA is. I hate saying this because it sucks saying it since I care for it. It's irrelevant 99% of the time. And the start of this year has been the most relevant I have seen it in 10 to 15 years. And it's relevant because of Caitlin Clark. You want more fans You want girls to start watching you more. You want more girls to start playing basketball. You want guys to watch basketball. I'm not I'm not turning on the TV right now for anyone other than Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink.
And Ziko,
At this point, it's like you need one of those people on the team just to sell tickets.
I'm actually disappointed in your take, Ziko, being that you're from Europe, you understand international basketball. This is not about ticket sales. This is about
It's
pride
about TV
and separate.
sales. My
No,
stop.
not Team USA,
Ain't
not
gonna
Team
be
USA, not Team USA. Nobody cares about ticket sales for Team USA. This is about pride and representing a country. And
Omar. If you think Caitlin Clark, who is as good of a shooter as she is, wouldn't help being the 12th person on the roster for Team USA, who's going to have a loaded team
well,
regardless.
who's she better than? Who's she better than that she deserves kicking them off that spot as a rookie? Tell me.
I have to relook at the roster one more
Well,
time.
we don't have to answer that question right now, but tell me who she is better than today. Now, I'm not saying
Again,
you're
I have to look at I actually there was a couple people I actually think that she would be better than on the roster. So
okay, but
to me, that's
I'm gonna
ranking.
also point out something that we all know is once you get to FIBA competition, the game gets a little more physical.
Agreed, but it's going to
And
be
she's
the
still trying to.
Omar, I'm not talking about that. I don't expect her to play. She should have been on the team. Why is it that every single year Team USA takes like one like rookie or a college player, puts it on the team? Why did they put Anthony Davis on the team when Kobe Bryant was on the team and they won the title? Why did they put him on there? Because they wanted to develop the future. This team chose not to develop the future. They're focused on building a stacked team and not build the future. Why didn't they take any of the, why didn't they take Cameron Brink? Why didn't they take Angel Reese? Why didn't they put any of those people to say, hey, this is also our future? Like NBA always does. They take
But
one
because
guy.
you know why? Because USA basketball has not as been as dominant at the adult level. You know what I'm saying? Not the 17U and the 18U, but at the senior level have not been as dominant as they used
The
to be.
women's
Both men and women.
Omar, the women's team has been crushing everybody, man. Go back and
Yeah,
look the last couple of
yeah,
them.
crushing. I'm not disagreeing with your statement about crushing, but there is also other countries who are now stepping up.
I agree with that, man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the future of building, putting the team together. There's no reason they could not have added her to this team. I'm
She
telling
got to
you.
you got to earn it to wear USA across your chest. That's the way I see it.
What did Anthony Davis do to earn wearing Team USA's when he was added to the team?
Well,
There's multiple guys.
no,
There's
I know
multiple guys
that was the Team USA always had that irrelevant 12 man, anyways. With what do you call it when it started with Christian Laettner, right? So
right.
but at that point, Team USA dominated at a high level. At that point, if you realize after there was a couple years after that, you didn't get anybody from college, and Team USA still underachieved, right? But once again, if you think FIBA World Cup and Team USA, now I will say this though, Zico, because this is the Paris Olympics. If this was Olympics, if the roles were reversed and this was the Olympics in 2018 here in the U.S., I can agree with your statement about you taking her with the Team USA for ticket sales because you're in America. Paris, you're not gaining anything out of ticket sales.
You're gonna get out of a TV deal, Omar.
I understand that, but nobody's watching the time difference from America and Paris versus if it was Olympics 2028 when it's in
You would
America.
be if Caitlin Clark was on the team.
Okay.
Omar, they're selling out stadiums because of her right now. That's never
And
happened before.
I'm not
Unless it's like
disagreeing
the
to that fact.
playoffs.
I'm not disagreeing to that fact. And yet the WNBA is still losing money, right?
Right, so you need to start thinking of ways you could make up some of that money and make it, right? So wouldn't it make sense to put your
Team
best
US,
asset on the
but
team?
Team USA and the WA is two different entities. They can care less about one another.
Omar, it still reflects the WNBA. Like the people you use to represent you will reflect the WNBA. If she goes out there and she plays, more people are going to start watching. You want more people to watch. That's all I'm referring to. If more people watch,
The
hoping
game,
that
the
she comes
game
in
is
and plays
the
five
game is
minutes.
too ugly for anybody to watch, no matter how good they win and dominate. And
I
that's
disagree
Mike's
with that.
position.
Again, like I know that's Mike's position. I actually disagree with that. I think the girls are getting better. I think the game is getting better to watch, and I support them, and I'm all for it, and hope it continues to get better. And again, like if I have a future daughter that wants to play, I hope Mike, your daughter might be tall, man. She might be perfect for the WNBA at some point. So
He's
it's
gonna
for
have
me.
he's gonna have to watch and support his daughter no matter what.
Oh
But
yeah, I absolutely would, but right
but
now
but
she doesn't
Vico,
want to play.
Vico, would you rather watch
But I can
Indiana
tell you,
Fever? Hold
I'm
on,
not going to have
Indiana
her watch
Fever.
girls basketball.
No, hold on. Indiana Fever versus, I don't know, the Phoenix Mercury, right? Or would you rather watch Sheshka women versus Fenerbahce women?
Honestly, I'd rather watch Caitlin Clark play right now.
I'd rather see the Indiana Fever play the Cal State Fullerton men's team.
Okay, Mike.
No.
Uh,
Let's
Mike,
let's leave the WNBA alone before we get like banned for something that comes out that's bad.
uh, but to say
Too
she's
high
the
a
best
level.
player right now, I'm gonna say no, she's not.
Modern days varsity team.
Oh, I think they might beat them.
No, Mike, you're doing them a big disservice here.
Yeah, I think they're better than you realize they are.
I mean, Mike, you have to understand something is the WNBA might be into echelons of players, right? Or tiers of players that play in the WNBA. But there's that top tier players that actually go and play overseas and play in Europe and then come back and play over there. Those girls are better than probably 99% of the guys you've played against, Mike. Or 90%. I don't want to say 99 because you play with some NBA players. So
He doesn't look very moved right now.
I know. So yeah, let's move past that. Like and subscribe.
I don't want to end the show on talking WNBA. And we have not talked about the Lakers at all. And most of our listeners are Lakers fans. So the season is over, obviously, and we could start talking about what the Lakers' future might entail. And I think we're
I
going to do this quite a
refuse to
bit.
talk about the Lakers until I understand where LeBron James is headed. Because right now it's disgusting following the Lakers news and the coaching search. And I'm a Laker fan, and I'm saying that right now. I think there's a lot of fans that are listening to us that probably agree with some of the statements I'm making here. So I really have nothing to share about the Lakers, and I'll just listen in.
So why are we so low on JJ Redick? He's got to start somewhere. There's been a lot of coaches that have come in, high IQ guys that, and while I agree, the first stop for those coaches is a learning curve. They don't do
Well,
well.
tell me, who are the coaches? We know who they are, but I want you to name which coach that took over an NBA organization franchise as a
Jason Kidd's the easiest one. His
okay.
first stop, and I'm not saying it's not gonna go well because most likely it's not gonna go
Hold
well.
on.
But
So
he's
you
got to
saying
start somewhere,
so
and
so
Reddick will
Jason
be a good coach.
so hold on. You brought up Jason Kidd, right?
Hmm.
We had this conversation.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Jason Kidd was a point guard, and it's known a point guard is always extension of the coach on the court. So it's easier for a point guard to transition into a coaching gig than just a high IQ player. Ziko,
Yeah,
do you
yes and no.
agree?
There's guys who you can see that are going to be coaches, and guys who you can tell just wouldn't be good coaches.
But to rebuttal your whole statement about Jason Kidd,
Look
you're
at
right.
Steve Kerr.
No, hold on. Let's stick to Jason Kidd. It wasn't until after Brooklyn and Milwaukee until he became an assistant with the Lakers and understood what it meant to coach that he was
Mhm.
able to be successful with Dallas and get them to the finals now.
Yeah,
So yes, his two stints were were long fetched. They weren't successful, and then he had to take a step back. Right? You bring up Steve Kerr. That was a mess in the first place, but that also had to do with his, which is similar to the JJ Redick situation with the whole clutch organization. But you're talking about Sean Marks, you know what I'm saying, hiring him, but that at the same time, they were catering to some of the players there who they wanted to play for. And it was an experiment that failed. And he hasn't had another coaching job since then.
Tyronn Lue.
Tyronn Lue, Tyronn Lue was not a head coach right off the gig, bro.
He was
I'm just saying.
assistant for a
I'm
He
while.
was
just
an
saying.
Like,
assistant.
There's
look, I don't have a problem with JJ Redick at all. I think JJ Redick could be a good coach in the NBA. My problem is if I have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I have a chance to win, at least a chance to win with those two guys. I just feel like if you're going to put a coach in that situation, you need to put a coach that can deal with those guys and put them in the best position to win. And I don't think that JJ Redick is ready to do that. And if LeBron
Can
James
JJ
were to
Redick manage
leave,
the egos?
right, if JJ Redick, I mean, if LeBron James were to leave and like we're kind of starting to rebuild, I'd be all for JJ Redick. I'd be all for him to like now, like take your bumps, man. Let's figure this out. And
I would rather hire Rondo over JJ Redick if that's
I
the
would
case.
too. I would too. I'd rather have Rondo than
pl-
JJ Redick too, because I prefer, like Omar said, the point guard that's an extension on the court. I feel like their learning curve is a little faster than someone else. And there are other coaches who are, weren't point guards that were great coaches. Like Phil Jackson wasn't a point guard.
But
Tom
he
Thibodeau was a power forward, like right, like it's and then Spoelstra wasn't an NBA player, like so like there's a lot of guys who can
but then
still be successful.
he came up in an organization or worked in different
Right.
positions, was around the environment enough and before he got a shot. So but Mike, I'm gonna entertain your thought process here is what what do you think JJ Redick has to deserve a head coaching job in the NBA, let
Ahead of
alone
somebody who already
Okay.
has more experience.
Okay. So let's break it down, and I don't know if this will make you guys happy or make you sad, but you both sit here and you both say you're tired of LeBron James. Okay. Well, LeBron James is a Laker. That's not changing. The second thing you guys always sit here and say is LeBron James is doing the coaching anyways. So why not bring in a guy who's already going to go with that? Let LeBron do his thing that you guys already accuse him of doing and see where it gets you. You run out his
we
contract,
haven't won
you get
anything under that, and
it,
that's
it,
the point as a
but
Laker fan.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because
What do
it's
you
going
mean
to
it
happen.
doesn't matter?
It
As a
doesn't
Laker fan,
because
you're
it's going to
asking us as
happen.
a Laker
No,
fan.
no, I'm not asking you as a Laker fan. I'm asking you to use common sense. If you say that this is happening, it doesn't matter who comes in. LeBron James is still going to do what LeBron James wants to do, according to the two of you and other Laker fans. So if that's the case, why wouldn't you just spend a little bit of money developing a guy who could become a good coach?
Because I know what's going to happen. It's going to fail, and then LeBron's going to blame him. The players are going to side with LeBron, then they're going to fire him, and we're back in the same spot again.
And
Being a Laker fan,
what's different if you
like
hire a good coach?
being a Laker fan, I want us to put ourselves in a situation to win a title while LeBron is here. So whatever, if you think I hate him, I want him to win a title for the sake of the Lakers. I know when LeBron leaves, it's going to take us 5, 6 years to rebuild enough to possibly have a chance to win a title again. And then, like you said, Wemby's going to be in his prime. It's going to be a miserable time period for most franchises trying to compete with that. So for
What I'm
me,
saying,
it's win now.
what coach do you think, from your guys' perspective, is going to be a big enough coach to put LeBron in a place where LeBron says, okay, I'm just going to do whatever my coach tells me.
We just lost Omar. I know his surface was dying, so he might be switching over somewhere else. But yeah, I can name one coach, and you know what? He just so happens to be available right now. Frank Vogel. He's done it before.
They're
Yeah,
not going to hire Vogel back.
they made a mistake. They made a mistake firing Vogel. I was a huge mistake. They actually did it because of Russell Westbrook. It was the wrong move. So if you want to hire someone who can literally, he's literally won a title for you, I'd hire Frank Vogel back and readjust the roster to what it needs to be for him to have a successful chance to win another title.
Okay, so if you can get Frank Vogel and you think that everyone's going to buy in there, then go ahead and do that. If that's what you think will do it, then that's all fine and dandy.
No, I don't think that'll do it. I said that'll give us a better chance than what JJ Redick or
But
Rajon.
you're not looking for a better chance. You're looking to do it.
Well, I am looking to do it, and I think that gives us the best chance to do it. That's my whole thing. It's like we're in a tough spot as Laker fans. It sucks. We know that LeBron's window is winding down. We know that we probably don't have the roster to win it. Like there needs to be multiple other moves made to make it happen. Most teams don't want to help us in terms of trades. They want they want to make a steal for themselves and hurt us more than anything. So you're kind of in a situation where this is going to be it. This is going to be it for the next. Well, I don't even. You could get Gobert, but I don't think that's the right move. Although I think honestly, AD playing the four is more beneficial to us personally. I don't think he's a five, but yeah, I don't like. You tell me, like, what would it take for this Lakers team to win a title?
This Lakers team is not winning a title. They just
and if they
showed
don't,
that.
Mike, and if they don't, what happens if they don't?
You need to get somebody, and I go back to Drew Holiday, but let's ignore him. You need to get D'Angelo Russell style, but consistent. If D'Lo can't be consistent, they have no chance. And D'Lo can't be consistent. He's shown that at every place he's gone.
So you're saying if D'Lo was a consistent basketball player, the Lakers will win a championship with JJ Redick as the coach?
No. I'm ignoring the coaching. Okay.
No, you can't ignore the coaching.
Yeah, you can't, Mike.
You guys listen.
Okay,
Mike, you guys are telling you can't have it both ways. You can't say ignore the coaching, or you can't say that LeBron is coaching and then say, oh, but you need a coach. So which is it? Is LeBron coach and GM, or do you need a coach and GM?
No, see, that's not what I was.
You're missing the part. You're missing the point here, Mike. Sure, we did say that LeBron does a lot of the on-court coaching, but part of being a coach is also managing egos and putting guys in a position to succeed. LeBron is not doing that. LeBron is not going to manage egos. And that's the coach's job. And getting a guy like JJ Redick, you're telling me the guys are going to respect him? No, they're not.
Here's my thing, Mike. And again, this is like what I talked about. It sucks being a Lakers fan right now. If you hire JJ Redick, it's kind of to me like saying, we know we're not winning a title. We just want to sell tickets. We just want to sell tickets because it's going to sell tickets. It's drama. It's going to sell tickets. We know LeBron's window has closed. We are just going to put on the best show possible and collect money. And that's it for the next 2 years, 3 years with LeBron there. And afterwards, it'll be a shit show until we can get draft picks and retool and figure it all out again. So for the next, honestly, I said 6 years. It's probably 10 years. When LeBron leaves, it'll be just like when Kobe left. It's going to take us 10 years to refigure every single thing out.
So Ziko, you think it's LeBron that's selling the tickets? Obviously, it has nothing to do with the coach, right?
Right.
Okay. So if that's the case, I'll go back and say what I said last time is, why don't you just hire his best friend, Drew Joyce, who's now a head coach in college?
Because that's not a name. They want a name. Do you guys look at JJ Redick, bro? He's like the perfect little pretty boy. Do you know what do you know how many girls are going to be sitting staring at him courtside? Like, look what they're doing to Austin Reeves right now. Look at how girls are looking at him. He's going to sell tickets. He's a little pretty boy you could put in front of the camera, have him say the right thing. They're gonna eat him up. They're gonna love him here, even if he sucks. They did it for Luke Walton. Luke Walton is not half as good looking as JJ Redick is. Luke Walton was like the prototypical surfer boy coming over here. They went crazy for him. You could put him in front of a camera, tell him what to say, and look pretty, and he'll be fine. They're gonna do the exact same thing with JJ Redick. Oh, I got it right, didn't I? You thought about it there and you're like, oh shit, this is a marketing ploy. Because that's what it
No,
is.
but again, they're in a position where you're not going to get a coach that's going to come in and do anything that you
I know
guys
you
think they're
would.
going to do.
I know. That's like my whole quarrel with it. Like them signing JJ Redick to me is like just it's like admitting defeat. It sucks. It sucks that like it's gotten to that point where it's like this is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to end. Like you see the downfall coming. It sucks. Being a Laker fan, it sucks. Like personally, I said this before. I think they messed up. I think they should have traded LeBron. I think they should have said, hey, LeBron, we're going to send you a team where you have a chance to win a title. We'll send you back to Cleveland or we'll send you to Miami if you want. Just you'll get a chance. We'll make it a fair trade just so I could get some kind of asset where I could be like, oh, I got something to build with.
They could still do that if they wanted to.
No, I don't think a team's going to give up for it anymore. What are you going to get for it? You could trade him to Cleveland for Jared Allen.
We're not going through it. We're not going through all the trades again.
I'm just telling you, like it's getting harder and harder to move them. So, like for value, like because the value he brings is he sells tickets. So,
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
one more thing I want to talk about.
Put up that poll.
Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we end this. I think I sent this to you guys on Instagram, and it's kind of an interesting one. But Klay Thompson unfollowed the Warriors organization.
You did send that.
Yeah, he unfollowed the Warriors organization and removed all his championship photos with the Warriors from Instagram. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I don't think anything about that. It's somebody making a mistake, making a refresh. I don't know. I don't think he's going anywhere. But if he does, then where's he going to go?
There's a lot going on right now where there's a potential of him coming to the Lakers.
Yeah, I think there definitely is. It might be a sign and trade for D'Lo. But yeah, I don't know. I know he wants money. He wants to get paid. I don't think that Klay moves the needle too much for us, to be honest with you. He's a great.
No, but right now there's a talk of a trade to include Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson to the Lakers.
I don't know where that's going to work financially for either team.
Like Mike said, we're not getting into the trade scenarios right now. I'm not doing that at 11 o'clock at night. Ziko.
I don't think that's happening. All I mean is I don't think that's happening.
But you know, to answer your question about him unfollowing the Warriors, it's been obvious that they've had issues over the last couple years.
Do we think these guys are running their own social media?
No, but I think that they have the right to say, do this, and then they'll do it for them. Like, why would that happen, Mike? He's a free agent.
Maybe he was following something else. Maybe he miscommunication.
No, he unfollowed the team that he plays for, and then he took down the pictures of them winning the titles together. Like that. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. There's something there, whether you want to admit it or not.
No, I mean, there most likely is something happening, but
yeah, Omar's sending us the rumor of Klay Thompson quoted saying he would love to join Lakers amid Warriors contract buzz. Could have just said it, Omar.
Yeah. Well, no, I said that.
He did say it.
I did say that, Ziko. But I'm just sharing that stuff with our within our chat. But at the end of the day, you're right, Ziko. They control their social media from what gets posted and what's not. This is not a burner account. So yeah, they might have somebody running it, but they have to get their approval. But at the end of the day, is, like you said, when you talk about sales and clickbait and buzz, drama sells. And Klay Thompson is feeding right into it because one thing that he may be doing right now is putting pressure on the organization when the Warriors fans start, you know, posting about we want Klay, and then the organization is going to have to make a decision because their fan base is. We don't know what chord he's trying to hit.
Are the trade would be Thompson and Wiggins for Reeves, Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Jalen Hood Shafino? Is that what they're saying?
I believe
And,
so.
It was
we
like,
think
it was
that's
like a fan that like proposed it and on Bleacher Report and people ran with it. But like that's not gonna happen.
that seems
That's not gonna happen,
risky.
right? Like it's not gonna happen. It's risky for the Warriors too. So that's not gonna happen. That's literally one of those like fan made trades. So
Ziko made it. He just didn't tell us.
no, I wouldn't make that one. I would make a trade that would actually help us. Not I would
If you can
I'd
get
make a
4 years
trade.
ago, Clay, he's nice.
I'd make a trade that would benefit both teams because I'm like a businessman when it comes to those things. I'll make sure that everybody's happy.
That's crazy.
Again, we talking about the Lakers, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say for tonight. Is we keep trading away these guys that we have not been able to see their full potential because of LeBron James. And I'm tired of the guys getting put in trade rumors, getting moved after 1 year of not. And like there's certain players that got hurt that they couldn't perform. Sure, you have a chance to move them because you don't want to. They know about their injuries more than us. But like a guy like Hachimura, to me, I would keep him.
Me
A
too.
guy like Austin Reeves, I would keep him until he can show that he can play without, the way consistently the way which he has been.
There's one thing that was a really interesting quote, and I don't remember who said it now. They were actually talking about, and it was like a debate. And I don't remember if it was on Bleacher Report or ESPN. There was a debate where they're talking about Kobe and LeBron, and most of the people on the show were bashing Kobe as a teammate. And the person who said it was a player, responded with, I'd rather be yelled at by Kobe than traded by LeBron. And honestly, like when you think about how that works, the way that he's been able to manipulate how many guys get moved, I'm not surprised more players don't want to play with him, especially at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I mean the same could be said about the coaching changes. I know Kobe went through a bunch of different coaches, but it was a longer period of time versus the short period of time that LeBron has been with the Lakers.
Kobe had Del
Well,
Harris to start
he
his
had
career,
yeah,
and he had
the start.
Phil, and then he
He
had
had
Rudy, but Rudy had the heart condition and had to stop.
correct, and then he had D'Antoni.
D'Antoni, yeah, that was after Phil left again, right?
Yeah,
Mike
and
Brown,
Mike Brown.
So here I got the list. You got Del Harris, Kurt Rambis for 37 games, then Phil Jackson, Rudy Tomjanovich, Frank Hamblin, Mike Brown, Bernie Bickerstaff for 5 games, D'Antoni, and then Byron Scott.
yep.
So to be honest, I don't count the Kurt Rambis. I don't. You can't really count the
Yeah,
Rudy
it was a fire.
Tomjanovich. Well, the Rudy Tomjan or the Bernie Bickerstaff for 5 games, or the Rudy Tomjanovich because he had a heart problem, so he didn't. He
Yeah,
didn't.
Rudy was there for 34 games, and then
But then he had
Hamblin
a
took
heart.
over for 32, and then they went to Mike Brown.
Yeah. So is it safe to say he had three coaches that were given a fair shot with the scenario?
Del
However you want to put
Harris,
this.
Del Harris, Phil Jackson, and Byron Scott are the only ones who coached more than 100 games. And then D'Antoni with 74 and Mike Brown at 63.
One thing
Well,
to note about Del Harris, Shaq wanted Del Harris removed.
well, that's what I was gonna say. So really, I would count D'Antoni, Mike Brown, Byron Scott, and Phil for Kobe. That's 4 coaches in a 20-year career.
Yeah.
Or 18 years if you don't want to count Del Harris, right?
Yeah.
Well, LeBron has been with the Lakers for how many seasons now?
6, 5, 6, something like that.
Okay, how many coaches?
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Just with the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, we
I'm,
stated
I'm, I'm,
he's a coach and teammate killer. Not like literally, but like he trades them off, gets rid of them.
well, no, I also think he's a teammate killer because we talked about this before, and I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole. Is every player that has come to play with LeBron has had to modify or adjust their game to fit around his. And whether you want to say they won championships with him or not, they went from what they were dominating in certain capacities to just being catch and shoot guys and stand in the corner. So
And some guys are great at that. Like again, like J.R. Smith, like blossom next
no.
level.
I'm
Right.
specifically talking about
But
2 potential Hall of Famers of
I know.
Kevin Love, who was
Kevin-
averaging and 20, and Chris Bosh, who was a double, almost 24 and 12 guy before he got to Miami.
And I'm not a Russell Westbrook fan, but Russell Westbrook had averaged nearly a triple-double the season before and comes to Lakers and saw drastic changes to his statistics the second he was playing next to LeBron. Yes, he was on the downhill as well, but
So LeBron's had just as many coaches as Kobe. I mean,
Yeah, in 6 years.
oh, no. In Cleveland, in LA, he only had Vogel and Ham and Luke Walton.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
going on a poll, that's what we just said. He's got that.
3 coaches in 6 years versus Kobe 4 and 20, 4 and 18.
Yeah, but Luke Walton wasn't LeBron.
He was still there.
Luke Walton was leaving. Frank Vogel, you just got done saying wasn't LeBron. That
True.
was Westbrook. And Darvin Ham just wasn't it.
Which I just feel like JJ Redick won't be it.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. But it's
well,
late.
On that note, we're done talking about LeBron and the Lakers.
Mike, I have to ask you something though. If you were to play with a great player, right? And
Mhm.
you had a great player who just yelled at you when you did something wrong, would you rather play with a player like that, or would you rather play with a great player who's really fun to play with, but then second you made a mistake, just trade you?
Honestly, it wouldn't make a bit of difference to me.
I'm gonna answer it for him because I've been the teammate of both. He's been playing with his brother Anthony for so long. He's taking the teammate that's gonna yell at him first.
Me and Anthony yelled at each other. That's different. That's different.
Yeah, I'm
I-
just making the point. It was a really interesting point to me when someone said it. So I was curious how you felt about it because
Which it depends where you're at
you're
as a
one of those
player,
guys
right?
who thinks that Kobe's a bad teammate.
I don't know how Kobe was as a teammate, right? I mean, he's didn't pass, whatever. Obviously, he has assists. He's bailed out. I don't know how a lot of these guys are as a teammate, right?
Okay, so we're all speculating off of shit that we hear.
Exactly,
And so
and that's all you can do is then go off of what you see.
But we
outside
know
of that, pushing people to work listen, you guys can go on and on about me being a hater and Kobe's at 11. He's the second best shooting guard of all time. Okay, I have him at number 11. It is what it is as far as that goes, but never once have I got on here and said, "Oh, Kobe's work ethic needed help," or "Oh, the way Kobe pushed people to get better." I don't doubt that. Kobe pushed himself to be the best he could be. I don't doubt that. I don't think
You say
anybody
he
can
didn't make
doubt
his
that.
teammates better.
I don't think he helped make his teammates better in the sense of the game. Did he push them to get better? Absolutely. Did he push them in practice? I'm sure he did. But as far as on the court, did he make them better? No, that's a different thing. There's not a lot of people that make teammates better. There's a lot of things that go into that.
Only point guards make teammates better
I
on the
disagree
actual
with that.
court.
Disagree with
On the
that.
court.
I disagree with that. I think
Okay.
Tim
How did
Duncan made his
Shaq make
teammates
his
better.
teammates better?
Okay.
Shaq made his
This is-
teammates better because
this
he
is for
threw double and
this is
triple
for
team. Yeah,
another
we can
night,
do this.
fellas.
We can that can be our
I'm
whole
not-
next
I'm not
episode.
going to-
Kobe was facing double teams
All right.
at the highest rate. from 2007 to 2010. So
Right, when he
Ziko,
didn't have Shaq, and he made those guys better. He made Chris Mim an NBA player. So good job, Kobe.
he
I
won.
mean, we
Okay.
He went to 3
You
straight
know what?
finals and won 2 titles. So he had
that's
to.
because he had Pau Gasol.
Mike, he had. So now you're wrong. He had Pau
No,
Gasol.
good.
Nothing
All right,
else.
we're done. We're done.
He's the
We're done.
only
Well, next
player.
episode. Next
No, no,
episode.
no, no.
Ziko,
Next episode. Next episode.
Next time, do not leave a Kobe conversation
Listen.
till
Next
midnight.
episode.
Listen,
No,
the next
Ziko.
episode
My
is
computer's
be,
gonna die.
Next episode is going to be all Kobe Bryant. I will berate you the entire episode of Kobe stats.
You do every episode, so it doesn't
No,
make
the
it.
entire episode will be nothing other than that. I'm going to show you
No.
how wrong you are. Kobe Bryant had 2 of the worst
Next
teams ever.
Next episode,
Shocking.
we might have a guest appearance. So we'll see what we're going to talk about then.
No, good. We need a guest. We need a guest to.
So
Give me Smush Parker on here.
Oh, I'd love
You
to
know-
have Parker on.
Yeah, me too.
you know what? No, I want to have Kwame Alexander.
Oh, I'd love to have Kwame Brown on. I actually really liked Kwame Brown when he was a Laker, so I would love to have.
So next episode, we're hoping to have a guest present, and we can see what they think about some of the topics that we've talked about over the last NBA season.
Perfect.
Okay.
Everybody like and subscribe so you get that notification on who our guest is going to be.
All right, guys. It was a pleasure arguing with you tonight.
Yeah.
All right, later, guys.
Have a good night.